Hello, Tony Walker again. Got a few items I want to show you this morning. Probably be fairly quick, and when you do beam shots, you really need a good camera setup, as well as it being nighttime, of course, neither of which I've had. It's Saturday morning, and I'm using my iPhone to record this. So I'll just try to give you an idea of what you can expect from these. Just realize that whenever you get these and are actually using them in person, the effects are going to be much more pronounced. I guess is the best way to put it. So if the diffusion, I guess you'd say, from the F04, or the brightness of the red, or lack of brightness for the red F05 filter, doesn't seem that overwhelming, just realize that the camera, or at least my camera, isn't going to pick it up nowhere near as much as a human eye can. So if you're not familiar with these, what these are, let me back up. Before I get to these, the Surefire flashlights, see if I can show you. Probably won't be able to, but, and not with the flash. The flash is going to make this look like it's on, almost. But right in there, right there where my finger is, you can see the LED, and then that little, it looks like it's glowing, but it isn't. That little part right there, it's I guess you call it the light bouncing, or whatever. See how it's kind of making that, as I turn it, see, it almost looks like a flame flickering on a candle. I don't know the scientific word for that, but what Surefire does with their flashlights, it sets them apart from, you know, a $10 flashlight from Walmart or whatever, is instead of just having an LED down in there to light up, and then having a lens over it to protect it, what they do is they take a small piece, I guess it's glass, and it's, I can't remember the exact shape of it, but you can tell it's not just a flat piece of glass, it's been shaped some, and then they put that over the LED, and then you've got the reflector, although I don't know if technically if they call that a reflector, but you've got the reflective material on top of that, and then you've got the lens up at the front. And what that does, they call it the TIR, total internal reflection, I believe it is. Instead of you, let's say the light's going this way, instead of you turning the light on and the LED just lighting up everything, just letting light out like it, whatever direction the light wants to go, just like a light bulb, or here's an example. My little keychain light, there's not even really a lens over that. It's just an LED with a little glass circle over it. And so when you turn this light on, you see it just, there's no real pattern to it. It's just the light just spreads out and goes. And if you take apart a flashlight, and you turn it on and the LED just lights up, the light's going to go wherever the light waves want to go. And so what Surefire does is they take that little optic, I believe that's the word, the optic, they put the optic on top of the LED and then put the head together, and then what that does, instead of you turning the light on and the light going 180 degree direction, it's a tightly focused beam, and so it's more of a spotlight rather than a floodlight. You know, if you've got a light bulb, for example, that's 500 lumens, you say, well, you know, that's really not that much impressive. Yeah, it can light up a room, but it's not going to light up outside the house or whatever, because what that light bulb does, yeah, it might be 500 or 800 lumens, but it's just going every direction. But you take 500, 800, 750 lumens and you put an optic in front of it so that all that light's going in one direction, what you end up is something a lot more impressive. For example, you can light up trees several hundred yards away. So most of the time, that's what makes a Surefire light so impressive is the throw that they have. Well, in every situation, that may not be what you want. For example, if you are trying to light up a room instead of just light up one particular part of the room. Let's say that you're wanting to go into a room, and rather than light up whatever you're pointing at, you want to open the door and have the whole room light up. Or for example, you've got a flashlight and you're using it in a tail stand mode or a candlestick mode, and you don't want it shooting a straight beam up into the ceiling. You want it to provide more ambient light, maybe at a campground or something like that. If you're going hiking down a trail, you don't want to light up the tree 200 yards away. You want to light up 50 feet in front of you every direction, so you can see where you're walking clearly. That's where this comes in. And what this is, it's an F04-A Beam Shaper for flashlights and weapon lights with a 1.125 inch diameter bezel. You've seen me talk about these on the Surefire Defender 200 lumen flashlight review, which was uploaded last year, at least year and a half ago, something like that. And the only real difference between what I'm going to show you today and the ones in that original Defender video is that these have increased in diameter by 1/8 of an inch. You say, well, Tony, what's the big deal? Well, when Surefire upgraded the heads on their flashlights in the last couple of years, that left you, if you were just using an F04 and an F05 cover or filter, you realize that it did not fit on the flashlight. So Surefire released a lot of their flashlights were an even 1-inch diameter bezel, and then with the higher outputs and the different head designs, they went up 1/8 of an inch. And so naturally, they needed to do that with the beam shaper and the filter, so that they could accommodate the larger head size. So just show you a little bit about what this does. Let me close my blinds. Again, I don't have the best setup at all, so this is just going to give you an idea. Well, we'll just use this one. Okay, what we've got here, we've got a Surefire E1L Outdoorsman, which does have a TIR instead of just a broad reflector. And so normally what happens when you turn this light on, I'm going to point it right here. You see how it's just a nice little circle? That's probably about 1 foot away. Again, if this was dark and outside, it would be a whole lot more noticeable. That's low, that's high. But you see, whether it's on low or high, it's still just a tight beam. And so where this comes in, you slide it over the flashlight head, and it's a good snug fit. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to shake off. It's not going to twist off. You've got to really make an effort to put it on there, and you really make an effort to pull it off. If no other reason, a lot of times, well, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so we've got the beam filter, diffuser, whatever you want to call it, beam shaper. We've got it on there, and before, where we just had a tight hot spot about that size from 1 foot away, now, see, it lights up a whole lot more area. Now what that does, the light isn't as intense in that one spot, and again, you're not going to notice it from my setup because it's just not as good as anything professional, but I can tell with my eyes it's lighting up a circle much bigger. Let's put it on high, and that may be more noticeable. There we go. Okay, so that is 90 lumens on high. You can see it's a lot more broad, and you can probably see that on the camera, but I can see it's going far outside of what the camera can pick up. Again, I'm holding this about a foot away from my desk, and it's lighting up a spot maybe about 3 foot wide. So it makes a big difference. So just to show you, let's pull it off and leave the light on. There. That probably is the best way to show you the difference. On, off, on, off. Now we'll show you with the Defender. E2D LED Defender Ultra high. The camera's gonna adjust and focus. Low. Same thing as the Outdoorsman. 5 lumens on low behind a TIR optic. Get the same idea, about a spot that wide. And this is with the diffuser on. On, off. On. Now let's put it on high. And you can still see a hot spot just because the desk is so close to the flashlight, but you get the idea of what it does. Okay. So that is the F04-A Beam Shaper Diffuser. A lot of people call them diffusers, but if you're searching online or eBay or whatever, you might want to search for Beam Shaper. Again, these haven't been out too terribly long. You can find them on Surefire's website, full retail price. You can also find them at, you can find this one at LA Police. I believe it's .com. Just search LA Police. And there's one more website, maybe Optics Planet. Search Optic Planet or B&H Photo. They may have them. It's been a few weeks since I've looked. But I found this one at LA Police, cheaper than Surefire's suggested retail price. But when it comes to the red one, the only place I could find it was at Surefire's website. So let's show you, let's move over from the diffuser to the red filter. Now what this does, they say, there's debates about it online, but the general opinion is that if you're using a red light, that it's going to better preserve your night vision. For example, people point out the colors on a dashboard to a car, your instrument panel. I've never been inside of a cockpit of an airplane or helicopter, but things I've read online said a lot of times it's a green or a red light to better preserve night vision. I don't know that that's true, but I've read that multiple times. But you know, in your own practical experience, like last night I was laying in bed reading, and I had the red filter on instead of the beam shaper, and it is not quite as harsh on the eyes. And you know, if someone's trying to go to sleep next to you, then if they've got their eyelids shut, the red's probably not going to shine through nowhere near the way that white light would. So even though there are debates about it online, I think it's safe to say that a red filter does preserve night vision. Now, I don't have out here today is a an F06-A filter, which is blue. And the descriptions on several websites about blue filters is that the main thing I've read is that hunters can use a blue light, and it lets them, when it's dark outside, the blue light will pick up blood better. So if they shoot a deer and they're trying to follow the trail of blood, they would use that blue light. I've never been hunting in my life. Last time I went fishing was probably nearly 20 years ago. I'm not that kind of outdoorsman, so I can't tell you that one way or another. But that's what the majority of the blue filter descriptions from Surefire and other companies say. So let's show you the red filter. Again, low, high, high, low, high. Okay, let's put the red filter on. One thing, yeah, it's picking it up well. It almost looks like it's got a mirror. It's got a mirror coating on it. Well, you can see the red there. But if you look at it straight on, and I know the flash kind of messes it up a little bit. Oh, there's my mouth moving and my nose. Let's move that. See if I can pick up just my mouth. There. Forgot what I was going to say now. Let's just take it off my nose and mouth altogether. Oh, the mirror coating. The old 1-inch filters did not have that. And you know, these have gone up substantially in price compared to the 1-inch models. And one person I was talking to said that that may be why, that it's got more of a higher quality coating and a higher quality build system than the original red and blue filter. Okay, so low, and you can see, looks like a little red dot. There is a little bit of spill to it, but not much. High, and there, you can see all the way around there. That's the spill. And then right here you've got the hot spot, and that is the red light. Let's show you what it looks like on the Defender. One benefit of having one of these, especially on a Defender, that's one thing I wanted to point out, is the stripe bezel. People complain about it tearing up their clothes. I've never had a problem with that, and I've had this one for a few weeks, and the first Defender I had for a good little while, maybe a year or so. So if you don't like those, but you do want to have them available if you need them, just buy, more than likely, one of these, the F04 diffuser, and keep it on the head of your flashlight, and then it'll look like that. Then you've got a floodlight and a spotlight in one, just by purchasing a little bit extra for the diffuser. So the red light on high, again, this will be a lot better if it was completely dark, but can't do that right now. And then low, again, the same, almost the same as from the Outdoorsman. Both of them have a low lumen output of 5, and then 500. Although I don't know how the science behind that works. I'm guessing it's not putting out 500 lumens with the filter on it, and that gets into stuff a little bit over my head. That the filter, the only thing it's allowing through is red instead of all the colors that make up white light, which is naturally going to reduce the, I guess, perceived output. I don't know, that's just my mouth talking, but that's what I'm thinking in my mind. But when you do put one of these on, it does drastically reduce the overall brightness, in layman's terms, for the light. But there are times when that you can need that. A few times I have used one of these, especially, I've only had this a couple of days, but when I had the original Defender, that video from a couple years ago, and I had all the different color filters to go with it, the red and the blue and the clear diffuser. A lot of times I would put that red one on there and then put the flashlight on low, and I could walk into my children's room from the door, shine it on their face, and just check on them, make sure they're breathing, you know, everything a new parent does when they're have new children. And never one time did I have a flashlight with a red filter on it, even shining it directly at my child's face and eyes and nose and mouth. It never even made them flinch. So, for what that's worth. So again, that is the F04-A Beam Shaper or Diffuser, and the F05-A Red Filter. The only thing I don't have is the F06-A Blue Filter. But again, if the general use for that is to pick up blood in the woods at nighttime, me not being a hunter, I really probably wouldn't get much use out of that. Now, someone who has done a very excellent review of these, much better than me, although it's not a video review, it's a website review, is a guy named Jim who runs his website, Flashlight Guide. And if you type in F04-A review or F05-A review or a flashlight guide, you'll more than likely find it. If I remember, I'll put a link to that in the comments. Don't get anything for sending you that way, no compensation. but that's probably one of the best flashlight websites I've seen as far as just great detailed step-by-step reviews. And he does a great breakdown of the clear, the red, and the blue on top of multiple different flashlights. And he's got the comparison photos from his professional photography setup, and it gives you a really good idea of what you can expect from these. So if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments. Appreciate the people who've been watching, the new subscribers. The videos will probably slow down a little bit because the few things I've purchased the last few weeks, only make so many videos about them. But if you have any questions, just be sure to email me or send me a comment, and I'll answer those best I can. If you're interested in the Bible reviews, check out those. I think I've got a pretty good collection of Bible review videos dealing with the construction and the quality of Bibles, as far as the cover and the binding, the type of paper, things like that. As well as if you're interested in the sermons, I've got several sermons of times I've been given the chance to preach. You can find those on my channel, as well as just some general EDC items, pocket knives, multi-tools, and other flashlights and things like that. So thanks for watching.